Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. In studio with us this morning is the Nicolas Scott, of course, Chief Investment Officer of the separate group, or is it Musson?
Musson Group.
These guys are doing so much. Of the Musson Group. And of course, he's going to talk to us about a special event that happened at the stock exchange today. Welcome to the show, Nicolas.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, so this big event, A.S.Bryden, another one in your portfolio, listed by introduction today on the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
That's right. It's a big day for A.S.Bryden's. This year is the 100th year of its existence. It's part of the fabric of Trinidad and Tobago. Yes. It's a well-known name in Trinidad. And this listing, we really couldn't think of a better way to commemorate the next milestone in the journey of the company than listing it on the JSE, which is the most vibrant stock exchange. So today really marks a long-standing, established Trinidadian business that's known in every way for excellence, combining with the most vibrant stock exchange in the world, and Jamaica in the Caribbean, and showing the vibrancy of the region's capital market. So it's a great day for Separate, it's a great day for A.S.Bryden, it's a great day for the Musson Group.
And just so the viewers can understand, we're talking about a top line of about what, 1.8 billion TNT.
Yeah, in US dollars, you're talking, over 250 million US, close to 300 million. Yeah. No, it's a massive company. I mean, the way to think about it for a Jamaican audience that doesn't know ASB as well would be to think about a company that's comparable in size to a Wysinco. Just as an example of a well-known. It's a very different business, but in terms of the size. It's comparable to a Wysinco in its top line, in what it does, and in the amount of employees that it has.
Of course, the viewers would want to know, though, Nicolas. So your Mussons, your Seprod, but we're talking about A.S.Bryden.
Sure.
Why?
Well, today is really about A.S.Bryden. So we bought A.S.Bryden. Seprod bought A.S.Bryden's over a year ago.
Which is the key. Eh?
Absolutely, we acquired that business, and we made a promise when we did that that we would list the business. And we would do that not to raise capital. Today is not a listing as most IPOs are, where we're raising money. But what we're doing is we're allowing the shares to be traded on the exchange. We already have over 800 shareholders. Much of those are employees that since we bought it, Richard and myself and PB went to, and we had over half the employees at the company decide to become shareholders. And today really allows them to trade and get liquidity in those shares. That's a promise that we made to them when we bought the company. It's really important to understand that while Bryden's has been around for 100 years, 99 of those years it was a privately held, family-controlled company. And in this evolution, under Musson and Separat's ownership, we're doing with Bryden's what we really do with every company that we own, which is empower employees to become owners in the business. And like most of our other subsidiaries, list them so that those employees and other shareholders can participate in the growth of the business.
And that's, Nicolas, it's a very important concept. And you've done it very well in Jamaica. In a space where most people hold on to, family business, we want to keep our thing private. You've gone out there, you've raised money, you've listed companies, and they've done very well. Off here we spoke about General Accident graduating to the main market, being one of the first junior market companies, and so on. And you've done very well with that. How important is it for the company to be listed and for employees to participate in that?
It's really important to us. I mean, we've chosen as a tool to have all of our major subsidiaries be listed on the JSE. And just to talk about Bryden's, because today is about Bryden's, we think it's going to raise the profile of the business regionally, for sure, when it's listed, as it will be today. Yes. As I mentioned, it's going to allow the employees who have invested in the company to have the ability to trade, to also know and have the governance associated with a public company, to understand the quarterly results, to be able to feel how the company is doing. And then as we look forward, and Richard talked about this morning, we have a really bright future. We have a lot of growth prospects on our horizon. And this obviously gives us the opportunity, should we need it, to access the capital markets on the equity side and on the debt side, to raise the capital to continue to grow the business. So it's a very important milestone.
It's not often that we see a company being listed by introduction. I think certainly Massey did it a couple years ago. How important is that? Because it's saying to investors, we are not coming because we necessarily are short of cash.
Right. Sure. I mean, we thought long and hard about, how best to take the company public, given that we already had such a large shareholder base already. If we didn't, then it would be different. But we already had a large shareholder base, larger than many listed companies already. And our objective, our goal now, as you said, wasn't because we needed cash at the moment. The business is very well capitalized, very well banked, and it's very profitable. So at the moment, we have all the capital that we need. So this was the easiest, most effective way to do it. And as you said, other Trinidadian businesses have done it in recent times. Massey, a comparable company, had done it. So it was the right decision for us. But it's not the end of the story. Obviously, people who are interested in becoming owners of the company now, today, will have the opportunity to purchase our shares. And I wouldn't rule out at some point in the future, we have no plans now, but clearly a benefit of being public is that should we see a very compelling opportunity that requires large capital at scale, unlike our private competitors, we will be in a much better position to take advantage of it.
As we look at investors are out there looking on and they're saying, well, here's a new listing. It's a little different from what we're normally used to. Why should we, when this stock begins to trade, why should I buy A.S.Bryden?
Well, if you're a Jamaican investor, it's likely that you're going to be heavily long Jamaica. You're already going to benefit if Jamaica does well. But it's much more difficult as a Jamaican investor through the Jamaica Stock Exchange in Jamaican dollars to also get exposure to what's happening outside of Jamaica. And totally separate and apart from the merits of A.S.Bryden's as a business, and I would encourage your audience to take a look at our numbers, and you'll see we have a very high return on equity, we have a long track record of profitability, we're growing very quickly. But putting all the company-specific things aside, one very interesting aspect of being able to buy A.S.Bryden shares as a Jamaican investor is that through the JSE you will get diversification, largely into Trinidad, which is another English-speaking Caribbean market, but one that is not correlated necessarily with Jamaica. And as a portfolio management concept, I would encourage people looking for geographic diversification to take a serious look. There are not many opportunities to do that through the JSE, and A.S.Bryden's is going to offer that.
So for portfolio managers, it's definitely one.
Absolutely.
I know we're pressed for time, and we might have to bring you back and maybe the full team to talk about not only A.S.Bryden but also Musson and separate group. What is it that you want to leave on the minds of investors? This a very special listing on the 100th anniversary of A.S.Bryden.
Well, I would just I know that this show is watched around the Caribbean. It's called CBX, right? It's not called JBX, and it aligns very well with our vision to be a regional company. And I'd want to say to the audience, not just in Jamaica, but in Trinidad, listening to this, to say, today is an important milestone. It marks the potential for truly Caribbean business. Jamaica, Trinidad, Bryden's has a presence in Barbados, it has a presence in Guyana. This is a day that's really about celebrating what's possible if we have a regional mindset and we have our collective resources to bear. And I would want to say to all of the employees who have invested in the company that today is really about meeting an obligation that we gave to you when we acquired the company. We're very proud to do that. We'll always do what we say, and it's great to have everyone aligned and participating in this journey. And then finally, to prospective investors, today's the first time that you'll have a chance to become part of the A.S.Bryden story. It's been a story that has lasted for a century, and this is the beginning of the second century, and it will be a great time to join us in that journey. So thank you.
Absolutely great. And I couldn't have said it better. A listing by introduction of A.S.Bryden, a company that has revenue of over 1.8 billion and has made over 500 million or 300 and odd million to 500 million in profits this year. So it's a very good company, excellent numbers, and you should take a look at them yourself. We've been talking to Nicolas Scott, and he's the Chief Investment Officer at Musson Group on the occasion of the listing of A.S.Bryden. As we always say here on Let's Talk Stocks, we give you information to make better financial decisions. Come back with us. Tomorrow morning at 9, we'll have another wonderful story lined up for you.